gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome. Hey, everybody. How's it going today? Thank you for Alban for hanging out with us.
Yeah, man.
And keeping me, gonna keep me straight today.
Keep you straight.
You gonna do it?
Yeah, I'm gonna try. Well, I try. I try. That's whenever I could get a word in, you know.
Oh yeah, there's no shame in that. It is.
Nope.
I own it.
I know.
I own it. So thanks for everyone joining me. Thank you, Alban, for coming and hanging out with me, trying to keep me in the straight and narrow. Let's take a look and see who's joined us over here in the side chat. I apologize for not creating the link a little earlier for everybody. I was busy running around. I had a bunch of stuff to do today and got home late and just wasn't able to post the link. I like to post it either on Thursday or first thing Friday morning, and I was late to do it. So hopefully people join because they're normally see me at this time. We'll check it out. We'll see what happens. Thanks for Steve jumping in here. Steve's always on there. Steve Franklin. Sahil, always from Puerto Rico. Always. So thanks for watching us. Stuart. So I was actually talking to Stuart last night on Telegram chat. We actually probably should bring. We'll talk. We'll put that on your list.
Okay.
Telegram chat. It's a
Okay.
neat little feature that you've done some tests on, and I actually ran it last night.
I love it.
Yeah, it's a nice little nice feature. Roger's over in the chat. Thank you for hanging out with us. Our man Eddie.
Eddie.
Yep. Let's see who else we got over here. Bob. Bob's hanging with us.
Hey, Bob.
Nice to see you, bud. Nice to see you. Nookie. And Nookie actually brought up a topic today for us to talk about, which we're going to talk about today is the subject about servers. So we're going to talk about that today.
Okay.
All right. So we got that in my notes. Who else we got over here? Theodore.
Yeah.
Yep. So he's hanging with us. Nice to see you, bud. Donald D. Nice.
Donald D.
Nice to see you. Trevor, another regular guy watching us all the time. Thank you for hanging with us. Nice for hanging. We've got Noir jumped in here. Jason, thank you for hanging with us. Ultimate Streams TV, thank you for coming in and hanging out with us. Jim, I see Jim over there. Heavy Metal. Yep. Theodore digging the intro, and that's thanks to DeBeach doing a little bit of work. I had a bunch of pieces, and he kind of worked them all together. Can make some one instead of me doing. It's like it was 3 separate things. Now it's one thing, and I can actually start it, and then I can go get me something to drink and come back, and it's still playing.
Mm-hmm.
Degs. Yeah, and Daryl. Nice for.
But there's no DeBeach. Where is he?
Yeah, I don't see. He'll. You know him. He tends to be late. So
yeah.
Hello, Nar. How you doing, bud?
Good evening. I'm all right. How are you?
Hey, how you doing, bro?
Very well. Good. Very well. You were a busy man this past week.
Oh, tell me about
it. Man never takes. He's doing his own projects as well as helping other people with a lot of projects. So hats off to you for all that you're doing on the front end and on the back end kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm doing quite a lot of testing and breaking
That's one of the. Speaking of testing and breaking, Gen 19.
Yep.
That's actually so. Hey, Jerry over in Huntsville, North Kakalaki. So, hey, Jerry, Jerry, hit me up on Telegram. Maybe someday at some point we can meet somewhere in the middle. Go get us a barbecue sandwich or something of that nature. And love to go get some barbecue if we can figure out a good place. And Huntsville's not that far away. If I'm not mistaken.
I'd finally took a breath from his sandwich.
Huh?
The beach. He took a breath from his sandwich. He's having a good old Italian sub. You can't beat him. Listen, I'd be late for that also. You know, I have been late for that also.
Yeah. So, hey, we'll go ahead and jump on here with being that we know Narcissist. It's a little bit late for my man.
Yeah.
So, anything that I know that you released this past week was Odin, and I did a video on that. What was it, earlier in the week, wasn't it? Monday or Tuesday?
Yeah, it's more of a to test out the new Gen 19 with the JSON file format to see, you know, how it works, how it can help, and basically, I'm so impressed with the speed of it. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, and that's so. If for anybody that's not listening, can you give an example or what the difference between an XML file for some of us that have created add-ons and we've done XML files, and that is basically what the add-on goes and looks at that file, and then that's what it reads and how it displays, and it's pretty simple format. And then you got Gen 19 can use JSON files. So what is the difference between the two if you were writing one or for someone that has a basic idea of an add-on or some XMLs?
To be fair, there's not a great deal in the difference between writing one. And luckily enough, the Gen team have created a converter, which you can actually have your old XML files rewritten into a JSON file in alphabetical or identically how it is in your XML. But to be fair, there's not a lot. If you read it, it's still self-explanatory. Thumbnail, fan art, link, it's all pretty much the same. There's not a great deal of difference in it if you read it. If you overcomplicate it for yourself, then your mind will just go away with yourself. But if you stop and just read each line as it is, it tells you exactly what you need to do. And there's examples already inside the Gen sort of template area to guide you. But there is new parts coming out which will read the old XMLs anyway. So the JSON just seems so much quicker. I've tested both.
Yeah. Well, and I all right. So for people that, just to give some background for people that may be watching or that have no idea what we're talking, we say Gen. What Gen is it's a base template for making an add-on. There is nothing. There's no content, no media, no nothing inside. It is basic. It's just a bare bones template that you can create an add-on. And create an add-on, you can create it to be a music add-on or a program add-on, a video add-on. You can do all kinds of things, but it just is the base to figure out what you want to do. And so the guys have this base, and some people have messed around with creating add-ons. And I'd say there's probably 8 to 10 Gen 19 add-ons out there. The Loop, Maverick just went to Gen 19. The Odin add-on, some of those sports add-ons, the Mad Titan, I think is a Gen 19.
Yep.
I know I'm thinking there's another sports one. Easy, I think. No. End Zone. I think End Zone.
Yeah.
End Zone, I think, is a Gen 19. And I know I'm probably leaving even out some other people, but it's a base to creating an add-on. And just another option for people. Again, one of the things is about creating variety options for people to be able to create an add-on, so that we're not all piled into one basket, if that makes sense. And this is just another option, as you said, and I said in the video when I did Odin, the menus are quick, and usually with an XML fed add-on, it's a little slow because it has to read all those lines, like you said,
Yeah.
display it, and then click the next menu. It has to read all those, display it. Whereas this does it within a second, it seems like.
Oh, somebody said the other day the movie is playing before you've even selected it. It's that quick.
Yeah, yeah. It's a, and this is the Odin add-on, is a direct link add-on. And if you're familiar with the 4K add-on, it's a port of the 4K add-on. If I'm correct, that was built on the Shadow base, and then this Odin is built on the Microgen or the Gen 19 base. And just again, it's the same add-on, but it works a little bit differently. The back end stuff is a little different, and you do see that difference in speed, which is really promising. And Gen 19 is a community project, and what I mean by that is there's different people doing different aspects of it, and it's a project that's created and put out there. Anybody can contribute to that project. It's not a finished project. I'd say like it's a beta. When you like a beta.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a beta, but always welcome. Anybody can join the room and join and say, "Hey, I was thinking about this. Can we come up with this idea?" And if you want to create something and put it inside Gen 19, go nuts. Jump in there, help. I have seen some people come. One of the downsides to Gen 19 is there's no scrapers in it. It does not have a scraper base like Gen 18 or a shadow base or any of those others that have scrapers to look for your content. It does not have that yet. Nobody's made it. But if someone feels the urge or has the technical skills, they can jump in there and help. And again, this is a project they create and put that in there, then everybody gets to enjoy it. And everybody can benefit. And that's the idea of the community project. I do see sometimes you see people are like, well, why ain't you got this and this and this? Well, I mean, the add-on, it doesn't have it yet, but if you want to jump in here and help create it, come on in.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very, if you compare it, I don't think you can compare the Gen with the Shadow, we'll say base.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I said to somebody the other day, because we've still got the 4K add-on, which has got the Trakt and all the bells and whistles.
Yep.
But then I'm getting feedback saying, people are saying to me, actually, I prefer the Gen because the layout is done in a certain way where it's so quick, you can get to what you want without all the bells and whistles.
Yeah. And
you have those people that say, oh, if I ain't got Trakt, I don't want to use it. And then you've got those people like myself, I don't use Trakt, I don't use half the stuff that's in some add-ons. I want to click, I want to play. I don't use scrapers. I can't remember the last time I used a scraper.
Yeah.
Most of the stuff is in the one-click sections that we do anyway. Yeah. So half the time it's like, I want to get there as quick as I can and click play.
Yep.
So if it's bells and whistles that you need, it's not for you at the minute. If it's quick that you want and speed to get to where you want to get quickly, and it's there, it's quick.
Yeah. And again, this is no knock on the shadow base. The shadow base is great. I use it, the Q continuum. I use it every day. I love it because it has aspect. It's got the 4K stuff. It's got direct links, but then it has the Trakt that I do use. Trakt. It has the series tracker. It has all those things that I use, that I enjoy. But not everybody needs it. And as Nar says, it depends on what you want. If you want all the bells and whistles, that offers all that. But if you're a person that's like, I'm never going to use that stuff, I just want to get directly to the content that I want, then that's the thing. And so the people say, well, what's the best add-on? Well, there's no best, but you have to decide what features that you want and that you need or you use. And then that helps to narrow down your choices of what you would consider the best.
Absolutely.
And if it has the items that you want, hey, that's the best. Just like I said, Q Continuum, I use it all the time because it has certain features that I'm going to use. I use Series Tracker every day that I watch it because guess what? My TV show, they're right there when I click it, and it tells me what episode I was watching last. Just
Yeah.
like, Trakt would. Does it every day. And that's what I found. But how many people would never go into that section and never use that feature? So they don't need it.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I'm not knocking Shadow. I think it was it's phenomenal. It's brilliant. You know, what AA did for the community is just fantastic. And I can't knock him, and I never would. He added some features to it for me. So again, it's great. You know. But again, with Jen, it's just, man, it's just the speed that's just blowing my mind. It's just so quick.
Yeah. And it's, hey, if people, you want an analogy. So right now, Gen 19, the micro Gen's kind of like a little sports car. Doesn't have a lot of trunk space. Doesn't have a back seat. It's a little Corvette. It's got just 2 seats. It's going to get you where you need to fast. The Shadow, that's like an SUV. It's got all the room to haul all the people you want to haul. It's got cargo space in the back if you want to bring a couple extra things. It's got the rack on the top that you can bring that. So it's got all the extras, a bunch of stuff. But they both are going to get you there, but they're going to get you there a little bit differently. And so, again, you just got to decide which one works best for you. And my hope is that more people will jump into the Gen group and help. It's great to see people jumping in there and saying, you know what, I want to help the community, because we always hear about the community, and I use the word all the time, but how many times people are like, oh, community, and then all they do is bitch and complain because of this ain't right or that ain't right or something of that nature. But if you want to come in, jump in, help if you can. And Nar is a perfect example of somebody that, and this is not knocking him, he's not a coder, but he can read code, and he can read it enough to say this ain't working, I think, because of these reasons. And I'm hoping I'm not trying to knock you. I'm just saying, but you can do it, and you've come along and learned since especially 19, you've really tinkered. You've tinkered with a lot of stuff, tested it.
I'm probably I don't do builds anymore because I just don't have time. I'm learning as I'm going, and if anybody ever knows me, they always say that I'm not a dev, I'm not a coder, I'm a tinkerer. I break things and then try and fix it. And it's just the best way of learning. What does that do? Let's mess with that. Oh, that does that. Oh, okay. Let's move on to the next bit and we'll break that. But I'm learning a lot from people behind the scenes as well at the same time that I'm helping test, so I can see what's going on and what they do. And you just compare the files and go, oh, right, so they've done that, so that does that. Okay, great. And it's good.
Yeah.
And for me, that's the fun part, not the watching what goes into it part, if that makes sense. I'm not bothered about the movie aspect, the TV aspect. I'm bothered about how it works more than watching TV.
Yep. Yeah. And I think of Slam, who was a builder. He's not doing builds no more. He said that he isn't doing builds. But he's jumped into wanting to learn and understand how things work, and he's got numerous add-ons going, and he says it becomes like an addiction. He says, because I want to see how it works and make it work. So it's neat.
He's doing really, really well, really well.
So it's neat to see that. So but hey, thanks for your things. Now, do you have anything in the pipes that you're working on that's getting closer? Anything that you care to share or talk about?
Not really. There's been a lot of testing in the last couple of days for parts with Jen. I released an update yesterday, which was pre what's been released, and there's a couple of issues, so I had to revert it back. But fingers crossed, there'll be something coming soon, I hope.
Yeah. Well, you guys will sort it out, and that's the good thing. And if you join my Streaming Matters room on Telegram, and if you want to get into the Big Gen room where they actually post the PI files, the zip files for you to tinker around and you to try it. Ask me in the Streaming Matters room, if I'm not there, somebody else will be able to give you that link to get you into the Gen 19 room, and then you can start creating. And again, it's right now it's direct links. That direct links work. Scrapers don't work at this time. And I guess the sports add-ons, people use it for sports add-ons because those are direct links.
Yeah.
So that's in it. But the other thing about with Gen 19, Cocoscope was, not Cocoscope. Cocodab was built on a micro gen, and so you can see it's not your basic add-on in the sorts of in Odin or the Crew or Q add-on. It's a little bit different. But the thing about with that base, if people tinker with it, they can use it to do a lot of things and make other add-ons, program add-ons, like I said, music add-ons. I know that I saw somebody talking about changing the display pie to make it look differently.
Yes.
If they do some tinkering with that, so that's an option to make it look different. So yeah, I think it's a good project. Hopefully more people jump in and try to take that on.
Yeah, it's preset to video, and it cuts the posters or thumbnails down in half in a lot of the skins builds. If you just change it to movies, it sorts it out. So
we see Noir's over there. Trooper, I posted, different people have jumped in on the side chat. Thank you guys for jumping in and hanging out with us. Let's see. Oh man, C-Man's got some people working on his air conditioning unit.
Oh,
you know that's important
Uh-huh.
for most of us that have been dealing with some heat. Hey, thoughts and prayers to some of these people that are dealing with massive heat and not having air conditioning units. I know the Pacific Northwest here in the U.S. and into Canada has been just dealing with some very high heat, and so thoughts out to those folks.
Yeah.
Because Auburn's got air conditioning. I got central air, so that temperature stays the same in my apartment all the time. But some people in some parts of this country don't need air conditioning. When I lived in Seattle, nobody had air conditioning because it wasn't a couple weeks a year. Is it hot? So thoughts out to those. I saw somebody posted something about a hurricane rolled through there.
Yeah, that was on my old brain.
Trevor Pierce. So
Yeah.
good to hear that he's doing well. Escaped any damage.
Yeah. Be safe out there, man.
Yeah.
Water ain't something to mess with. Mother Nature she ain't no joke.
No, she don't play.
She don't.
So yeah, it's got some forest fires. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff. So you guys be careful.
Yeah.
Try to take care of it. And I know that we had Happy Canada
Day.
Canada A. I'm gonna change. I told last night. I told them on. We had a little chat on stream in my Streaming Matters room. I created an open thing, and I said, when I get up to Canada, I'm gonna push. It's not gonna be Canada Day. It needs to be Canada A. It only makes sense. We need to change it. So when I get up there, that's going to be the first thing I try to push through. Is it Parliament up there? I don't know what they got.
I don't know. You're going to be the one dealing with it.
I don't know what they got. I'm going to try to push that through. Canada A. And then happy 4th of July to the folks that will be enjoying 4th of July come Sunday.
Yeah.
So happy 4th of July here in the U.S. So we have that going on. One of the things I was going to show you guys, and I'm not sure if anybody's seen this. Hold on a second. Let me pull this up. AFTV.
Eddie said it is Parliament. So
okay. All right. Good. All right. So I was correct. See, Look at that. Man, I'm already on it. So let me share this. There was something I read today, and I think it's kind of a neat idea for people that have Fire Sticks. So this may be something that, let's see. I didn't want that. Not that. Hold on a second. That was. Here we go. All right, you got that, Alban?
Yeah, yeah. You want to make it full screen for everyone else to see?
Yeah. Hold on a second. Let's make that full screen. So, the loader shortcut apps is a new feature that has just been added to your Fire Stick. So if you have it, I'm going to try to pull it up on my TV, and I'm gonna see if people are able to see.
Well,
And
we
you're
can't
going
see
to
your
be
TV.
Yeah, I know, but
Okay.
I'm gonna go through this first.
All right.
So it's introducing a new thing, and this is going to create shortcuts for features to make it a little bit easier. And you can put these items on the front menu or the front page of your Fire TV.
Okay.
Right now, they introduced it. Starts off with 35 different loader shortcuts have been introduced to start out with. And we've got different things in here: application settings, apps, the app store settings, audio video sync, Bluetooth devices. So you can see library, factory reset. You got all these different buttons. And what you're able to do is you're going to be able to create these shortcuts on the front menu. Now, some of these things may be like, oh, that's stupid. Why do I need equipment settings or factory reset? I wouldn't want that on the front menu, I don't think.
All right.
But say your library, you may want to click and have that as a button on the front. Manage installed applications. Now, anybody that has a Fire TV, you know how many times you have to go to settings, and then you go to apps, then you go to manage installed applications to get to that. So you're going to be able to add these shortcuts right on the front menu on your Fire device. And it says right now, it says 35 different loader shortcuts are released, but more to come. You're going to be able to find this. You can find these shortcuts in like you would if you were looking for an item in the Amazon store. So let me show you this just on my TV where I added a few items. So you got me here. Let me make myself big. Solo Man. All right. Let's see here. Let's click over to. Oh, and of course, I got my other glasses on. It's hard for me to see far away. And all right, so you're. Oh, wrong remote. Okay, let's try this. Let's try my other remote. I'm picking up my NVIDIA Shield remote, and every time I do it, it pulls me back.
Isn't that the only thing you use picking up in the house?
Yeah,
You know,
that is true.
I
It's
know
true.
I am. I don't pick up anything else.
Yeah, you're
Pick
right.
up my steel remote all the
Yep.
time.
So you can see right here, I put in a small example. You got put it apps right there on the front just to test it out. So that's a little shortcut. I hit that. It's going to take me right to the apps section in my Fire TV. So there's the apps section. Instead of you having to go through a couple different steps to get to this section of your Fire TV, they've made it easy for you. Your watch list, and like I said, you can add it and edit these items to make them to fit your needs. I think it's a really neat idea. I think that this is something to customize it to give you those easy shortcuts. Curious to see where they go with this. If they include applications or something like that may be a little more in depth. But this is a good start. So
it doesn't like have a link to just an app. It's only just apps.
No, just
Okay.
apps.
Okay.
Yes, it's just apps.
All right. Okay, no problem.
So so right now it is just the some of your basic items. But again, I think for me, that installed manage your installed applications is a perfect example. Because normally you would do this, go here, you hit apps, hit apps. No, I'm sorry, settings. I would go down here to applications, hit applications, and manage my installed. You got to go through several things.
Steps, yeah.
But now they're going to offer that to your front screen. So you're going to have that in the default your default things that you're going to be able to do. So neat idea. I think that some people may find that very useful.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see. Oh, Mandy over there, members of Parliament. Yeah, okay. You see, a little bit of little lessons over there. Oh, and another thing, keep in mind, the hurricane's going to be rolling through Florida up into the Gulf Coast. So I see that it's a tropical storm. I don't think it's a hurricane. I think it's going to be like a tropical storm. So just yeah.
It's that season.
Yeah. And any of us that live on the East Coast, or I'll even say the Gulf Coast, you just deal with it. It is what it is. So great, neat little feature there. One of the items that Nookie had sent me, and she asked me about a server. Why have a server? And we talk about servers sometimes, and some people are like, well, I could never afford a server. Why would I have a server? I don't know how to control a server. And it's not needed for everybody, but there is some benefits to having a small server, a small cloud base, and not a all right. So I also have on there DEDI or VPS. So a dedicated server would be it's a dedicated server on a particular computer board or on a computer, because they're usually in racks. So I don't know if it's even on its own computer board, but it's the CPU and the RAM is running just your server. That's it. VPS and dedicated is one price. And then the VPS, let's say they take one computer and the hard drives and the processor and the RAM, and they split it up amongst anywhere from 2 to, the number can go up to however many, depending on the computer itself or the server. And they split it up so everybody shares that one resource. So instead of you paying for one server, you pay a very small price, but you get a small amount of space and processing power. Now, for most people, that can work very well. For most websites, that can work very well as long as your website is not inundated with traffic. If your traffic becomes too heavy, well, then you would need a bigger server to handle the weight, because everybody else that's on that VPS is sharing the CPU and the RAM. You're all sharing it. So if one person's using too much of it, it affects everybody else. I'm hoping I'm making sense on you guys. So, so sometimes it's really happen. I did a video last week, I think, about options, and you could put files on your server, and then that makes it easy for people to access, or even for yourself to access those files. And it's a great way. Now, if you have a VPS, sometimes they can be anywhere from $3 a month to $10, $12 a month, depending on the service, the specs, bandwidth that you're going to use, and storage. How much storage do you need? So there's a fluctuation in price, and that would be per month. Then you can get a URL, and so you could have your own small website if you wanted. Or like for me, I don't have a website, but I'll have a server that I can access for my builds or for other things. So it can be very handy for some of us streamers. And I'll use FileLinked, for example. And people are like, how do I get these files to my friends and family or whatever? And if you had a dedicated server, you could just drop whatever files that you wanted in a folder on your server. And then if your family or friends or family have that URL, they could go directly to that folder and see it and download it and have it. Again, you need to be careful on what you're sharing on that server. You know, if you're going through and sharing copyrighted material, you're going to have an issue. But, you know, and I'm just saying for friends and family, small things, so it is an option. It can be really nice to have. You don't want to put a Plex server on a VPS. That's not going to run well. It's just Plex servers tend to need too much too much processor, RAM, all kinds of stuff it needs. So you can't really do Plex on one of those. But again, you could use it to store files. If you're a person that has builds, it's a great way to have a builds on there, or a repository. It's a great way to have a repository. Just easy to do and nice to have as an option. And again, most of them can they can be really cheap, and then they can go on up. And again, dedicated is for things that have so much traffic. You got so much traffic that you can't be on a VPS because you're using up all the resources that everybody else on the block needed, or that's on your server.
Yeah.
It's like a piece of pie, and if one person that's paying the $5 a month is using 75% of the pie, and it's not very nice to the other 10 or 12 people that are on there. So
I've been there.
Yeah. And look, we're talking server stuff, and then O'Neill pops in here. So
of course.
Yeah. So we were. I don't know if you were listening to.
I wasn't. I've literally just jumped on. Saw your message.
Okay. All right. So yeah, I kind of gave a rundown of the difference between having a dedicated server and a VPS server. What are some reasons? I'll ask you, what would be some reasons, in your opinion, what would be some reasons for somebody to have a small VPS server? Why would someone want to have that out there, O'Neill?
So the VPS servers, or virtual private servers, tend to come with management software built in, and don't necessarily need you to know how to admin a server from the ground up. They've been built in such a way that they're highly performant and readily available, ready for you to pretty much just jump straight in once you've created your hosting account through your payment provider of choice, such as GoDaddy or Antisocial Hosting or Simply.com or whoever like that. An account is automatically created for you in the portal, and all you need to do is upload your files. A dedicated server, you tend to have to know how to admin the server, how to set it up, because by default the stock configuration doesn't allow you to really accelerate and present files in a quick and efficient manner to your clients. You can install panels like cPanel, Plesk, Webmin, HostGate, ISP Manager and Host Manager and all that kind of stuff. But your hosting provider will not do that for you. You essentially take ownership of the server, and it's yours. It's an unmanaged system. You have to do all of the work yourself. And if you pay someone to do it, it becomes quite expensive.
Yeah. And again, with dedicated is somebody that needs a lot of resources. Bandwidth is being used.
So there is the argument that a VPS or a shared hosting platform naturally shares the resources of the underlying host with other consumers. So on a shared hosting platform, you can have anything up to a couple of hundred clients on the same server, effectively trying to get as much of the pie as possible. Whereas a dedicated server, it's yours. Now a VPS will give you all of the resources available to you, but you are still sharing the underlying host with other VPS services as well. And an internet-facing internet card can only take so much data through it anyway. So if you've got, a hosting provider which sells them very, very cheap, they're likely to stack them high and sell a dedicated server with loads of VPSs configured on it, and not necessarily have 10 gig or fiber network cards, and therefore your bandwidth will be saturated because you're sharing a single internet connection with 20, 30, 40 other VPSs.
Right. Yeah. And I said earlier, people that get VPSs can use them for all kinds of reasons. I mean, a small website or web storage.
store your own email service, private file backup. You don't have to have, just because you have a VPS doesn't mean it has to be available on the internet to everyone. It can be private.
Just for yourself.
You can install something like OwnCloud and have it set up with your mobile phone and sync all of your pictures to it instead of paying Google or iCloud to store your pictures. You can install Plex on it and use it as a Plex server. Won't be very good, but you can install it on there. You can do all sorts of things with it. There's so much you can do. It could just be a little development or a tinker lab, or you just want to try something out and you don't want to break your machine. Because let's face it, right? If say, for example, you want to install, I don't know, you want to create a forum and you want to use something like Envision or Simple Machines Forum, SMF, or PHPB, and you want to play with it just to see how you'd get on with it. The time to install it on your local machine, all the additional dependencies, all that kind of stuff, kind of goes against what your local machine's for. So the time that you can go and buy a VPS or a shared hosting account and very quickly chuck a domain at it, it can be up and running in a couple of minutes, and you can then just one click install that package of choice, play with it, and go, actually, that's not going to work out for what I was thinking of doing. I'll just stick with Facebook groups, close it down, end it, terminate it, and you never have to think about it again.
Yeah, and you're not big. I see Stuart asks, what would be an average price for a dedicated server? Now that there's going to be a big variables on that part, right?
There is variables, because the average cost of a dedicated server depends on a number of factors. In the same way as your PC, it's based on the amount of RAM, the CPU, the type of CPU with the number of cores. So remember, you've got AMD, you've got Intel, you've got Xeon, which is your enterprise grade, and you've then got Intel Atom, which is like your cheaper side of things. You've got your Intel Core i5s, i7s, i3s. So there's all those types of things, and then disk space. Disk is expensive at the moment, especially with that Bitcoin system called Chia Network. Everyone's buying enterprise grade hard drives, and so they're consuming that. So those are the types of consumables that you would pay for in a configurated manner, but also then the amount of bandwidth that you can consume. So you would get like 100 meg uplink, which means that you can consume 100 megabits per second on your connection, which in reality is around about, if you were to download a file from it, you'd probably see a download of about 15 to 20 meg. So those are the things that you pay for there. Costing wise, you can go and pick them up very cheaply with someone like OVH, and it would cost you probably £8. The risk though with that is that the OVH system is a very dirty network. They allow anyone on there, and it's a pile 'em high style system, and so the networking traffic isn't always clean. The theory is, and this is a substantiated theory, but the moment that you put a server on the internet, within minutes of it going live, it will get traffic, and it's not necessarily good traffic. You'll see people scanning for installations of PHPBB or to see whether you're exposing any file systems that you're not supposed to, and just doing regular sort of checks. So the OVH network is very prone to that because it contains a lot of crap, basically. The going rate for a decent dedicated server can be 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds for a Linux one. And then if it's a Windows server, you pay a little bit more because you have to pay for license.
So,
I mean, and then you can pay, there's companies out there that will charge you thousands of pounds because they give you an actual dedicated fiber link to the internet and highly available resilient network that never goes down. So there's multiple costs.
So the cost can go all over the place, Stuart, and again, it's depending on what you want. And again, I think most people would probably be safe if they went with a small VPS, and if you outgrow a VPS for whatever you're doing, then if you're at that point where you're outgrowing a VPS, you probably enough to say, okay, I need a dedicated, because my traffic is so much, and that's what ends up happening is people get too much traffic, and it causes a problem for anybody else that's on that VPS.
Yeah. One of the analogies that you used before, a couple of months back, is something that sticks in my mind. Is you've got a house and you're having a party, but you can only really fit 20 people in your house.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly you've got 50 people come in, which means that the party's ruined for everyone else.
Yeah.
That's the kind of same analogy that you'll get when you're using like a shared hosting service, which is far too busy, or a VPS server, it's far too busy. Other people are likely to see the impact of how busy you are.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do as a website owner to realistically control the amount of people that come to your site. It's either very successful or it isn't. And networking traffic and visits to websites and platforms and applications vary depending on what people are doing and what time zone they're in. And then also there's the speed of light as well. So if your dedicated server or your VPS is in Europe, but you're coming from America, you're going to be crossing internet links across around the world, and suddenly you're going to be adding a little bit of latency to your connection request, so it isn't going to be the best performing network for you as well.
Yeah. Go ahead, I'll toss that out a little bit. All right, so I hope that answers Nookie's question about that. So to kind of give you guys an idea about that, we'll talk more after the show and the after show if because Nookie will usually jump on after the show, and I can give you examples of like with mine. I can show you with my small VPS that I have, what I use it for, and how it's easy to configure. I mean, it's a drag and drop for me. Because I don't have, I used to have a website. I quit the website aspect of it because it was just too much hassle. But yeah, I went ahead and went easy in it, but I use it just more as like a storage, cloud storage, as O'Neill said.
You use it for email or not?
No, I'm not using it for email.
I use mine for email. I got one for email and for FTP.
Let's see. Roger says I have a code for $100 worth of free Linode server credits. Okay.
Linode is very good.
Yes. So
been around for a very, very long time. Open source experts, they know their stuff.
Yeah, so if you guys want to hit Roger up, you can. He's always in my server Streaming Matters room. So jump in there and you can ask him for it. And I guess he's got some. He might be able to hit you up with use a code. So if you're looking to get into that, again, lots of people doing lots of different things. So we try to give you a good, broad explanation on a lot of stuff, and then see if it fits your particular needs. Let's see. One of the next topic that I was going to bring up was, and we brought this up last week, WD MyBook Live was hacked and contents are being deleted. And this is people that have those Western Digital MyBook Lives, which they said the last update was 2015 on those. So they're the older external hard drives. And it does seem that more of these hard drives are being wiped. Somebody's having backdoor access to these external hard drives via the firmware that's on it or on the devices. However they have it configured, people are able to come in and delete the contents that are on your Western Digital MyBook Live. So if you have a MyBook Live, you may want to do a little bit of research on the internet, do a little reading, get some information about how much this may or may not impact you. I'm not going to say that it affects everybody, but hey, throwing the information out there. So if you have that, you don't wake up tomorrow morning and you have an old external hard drive that you had all of your family photos on it, and you wake up tomorrow morning and every one of them's gone.
It's gone.
I mean, so yeah, check into that if you have there's different external hard drives. This was the Western Digital MyBook Live. And it was, like I said, I know I read last week, the last firmware was 2015 on that. Basically, it was retired. You know how companies do. So check that out. Don't get yourself in some issues.
Yeah.
So I know that I'm going to go through this subject again, and I know that I'm probably going to get the people that are going to post, please no. But what I'm going to do is, and actually I had somebody mention last week because we were dogging out, everybody freaking out about file link last week. We did, C-Man and me, we did kind of make fun of some of it. And sometimes on the outside looking at it, I look at some of this, the sky is falling, and that happens in the Cody community. How many times O'Neill's been around was the sky is falling, how many times? I mean, this is the end. But file linked is gone, of course, and we've had plenty of videos about options. So I was going to throw out some options because a guy had made a comment, said that we were bad mouthing it, but we weren't giving people options or giving them solutions. So I thought I'm going to run through some solutions, and then you guys can research it. I know that Penn's done some videos. He's in the side chat over there. He's done some videos on this. But these are some options. And then you figure out what fits your needs, what may be your solution for this. One thing we talked about, a VPS. If you had a VPS, and I did a video on this last week about creating your own Word document. And this Word document could give hyperlinks to all kinds of APKs for wherever they're at. You didn't have to host the APKs. They could be hosted wherever. But a Word document where the hyperlinks, when you pull it up, you with your downloader or on a computer browser, you could click on that hyperlink and it would take you to that file and you'd be able to get it. Again, helping your family if they needed it. Same thing with a VPS. If there's a handful of APKs that your family needs, or your friends that you want to make it easy for them, you could make a folder, an APK folder, and drop the handful of APKs that they need. Give your friends and family the URL to that, and they could access it. I will say this as a warning. Be careful if you're going to host a lot of APKs out there. We have seen this has happened before, and I see the same trend is starting now. If you go back to Dematology, got in trouble, and about 3 or 4 other people got in trouble about 1.5 years ago for hosting APK libraries. They had a VPS, and they had a website, and they had all these APKs on it. Just makes it easy. They had them on their server. They got in trouble because they were hosting these APKs and got a letter saying, hey, cease and desist, and they did, and that was the end of it. So if you're going to host these types of files on your small server, be aware of what you're hosting, number one. Number two, don't make it a public thing. Don't be posting it on Twitter. Don't post it in every Telegram group saying, I've got an APK list right here. It's on my server. And then here you go. But I've seen a lot of tubers doing that. So just be aware. They're not going to get in trouble right away when they do it. But if some of these people have a APK library on their server, they could very well find themselves in trouble like we've seen historically in the past. So just be careful if you're going to do that. If you're doing it friends and family, nobody's going to know. It's just here's an APK for my friends. But if you're posting it socially, that could put yourself in impossible trouble.
Can I just add to that as well?
Yes, sir.
Any website, web server, it potentially will be scraped by Googlebot, Yahoo bot, Bing bot, those types of things. Okay. There is a very useful text file that you can drop into the root of your website called robots.txt. And you can create an entry that says disallow : // and it will tell the search engine bots to not index your site. And therefore your site will not appear in Google. So if you have an APK folder and you've created an entry that allows it to be publicly accessible by just knowing the URL, if you create in the root of your website this robots.txt file and put the correct entry in there. And there's loads of sources out there that will tell you how to do it. You essentially dissuade the search engine bots from looking at your website or the particular path that you've told it to. Just having the site there and not telling anyone about it isn't enough to keep it safe.
Okay.
It will be picked up by a search engine.
Thank you. Good. Hey, O'Neill, if you would, could you send me that information on Telegram?
Yeah.
And I can
Yeah.
post that in my Streaming Matters room.
Okay, good. Yeah,
and that'd be a good thing. I didn't mean to. Narcissus said that he needed to go,
yeah.
and I sorry, Nar.
So, sorry, I dozed off for a minute. It's all right.
Not that the show's boring. That wasn't. It's late
Of
for him.
course not. Yeah, I'm too old at this time of night.
It's I'm talking. That's what it is. Cheeky get.
It's what?
It's because I'm talking, isn't it? You cheeky get.
Well, I didn't want to say it, but yeah.
So hey, Nars,
look,
thanks.
suddenly narcissist.org has gone offline.
I'm sorry you're breaking up.
Hey, Nar, thanks for coming on. Thanks for the work that you're doing again, just helping and testing and breaking stuff. We appreciate the breaking and then trying to fix the items that you're breaking on the back end to help everybody else enjoy the content that they're looking for.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Thanks for the invite. I enjoyed myself.
Anytime, bud. Anytime.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Okay.
I will put in the show notes narcissist info. And so if people want to join any of their Telegram groups or his repository, I will have that in there. But that stuff is also on my videos. You can go to Coco. That's on there if you're not wanting to wait for that. So thanks for him coming on.
Thank you.
But yeah. But definitely send me that link or the file there, and I will post it because that's a good point. There used to be another file. What was that other? What was the other file? I remember we used to have it on all of our servers. It wasn't that file. There was another file that we had on there that would make it and not be seen.
So you can create a rewrite rule in your htaccess file, which will look for specific user agents. Every request to a website using a browser has what's called a user agent. It identifies what browser you're using, and you can look for specific types in there, including Bingbot, Googlebot, Mozilla. You can block anything if you know the right thing, but you can also do it the wrong way and block the things you don't want to block.
Yeah, you're blocking everybody.
So you could use a .htaccess file at the root and tell it to look for the user agent as it comes through on the request, and if it matches the expression that you create, to do something. So it's event driven.
Okay. All right. So good suggestion. Penn, thanks for hanging out with us, coming and joining us, and thanks for some of your good videos that you've been posting here in the last week or two.
Yeah,
I appreciate it. How you guys doing? Appreciate you providing to your platform.
Always. And thanks for again, I see posting out stuff, and Penn does a lot of different videos, and he tries to show you things that you may not see on other people's channels, and that's always the nice thing. Sometimes if you see somebody doing the same videos that everybody else is doing, I mean, I don't know why people would want to regurgitate the same information over and over and over. It just doesn't make sense. So one of the things about him, he'll talk about things that you're not going to see someplace else. So that is very refreshing. And one of the people that I actually follow I personally follow to see, hey, what's he showing? Is it something that I can learn from it?
Yeah.
So
yeah, thank you.
We're going through some of the options that people may have for the file link things. So feel free if you have some other suggestions to throw out there. I was going to also throw out the option that APK time is coming. APK time is also going to be a fork. I mentioned that last week. It is going to be a fork where anybody can create their own APK fork, and you'll be able to have it, and you can call it whatever you want. Again, diluting so that everyone's not going to that one website. So that is a great option. He's just not had time. Cody Apps has just been real busy this week. He says it's close. It's just not ready for the public yet, but it's in beta testing. So I look forward to APK time works, but I also really look forward to people being able to create their own APK time with their own customized content that they want. It's only certain things, not the whole thing. So, and then put whatever. So it's going to be a good way of doing it. I know that people have talked about app linked over and over and over and over. Yes, it's working. Yes, it's still in beta form. Yes, it still has issues. Yes, it's still being worked on. One thing I will say that, and I have seen some videos and some discussion about flags, malware flags that come up on the website, and that goes all the way back to, we can go back to Google Play Store, kind of knocked on them and that's what partially got that was not media.com, or the website itself got dinged, got black flagged. And once you get flagged by some of these search engines or the Google or some of the malware, then he's trying to resolve that issue. So some people say, be careful, it's got some malware flags. But he says that that's going to be resolved, that those are false positives on some malware. A couple, just 4 other items. Dropbox, great option for people that if you set it up right, you could share a couple files. Again, this, I'm not talking for the public, but you're doing this for friends and family, particular people that need it. So you've got Dropbox. G Drive is another good way of sharing a certain file or a certain couple files. I know Linktree was talked about. You can probably talk a little bit more about that in a second, Penn. I know that also has some issues, that there's been talk and issues on that.
Yes.
The other one is archive.org has a humongous library of APKs. Downside with some of things like that, these index sites, which is somebody has a server and they're throwing all these APKs up there, or archive.org where everyone's throwing all these APKs in there. You've got a hodgepodge group of APKs. You don't know who's uploaded it. You don't know what's in that APK. So at least if it's somebody you know that you got the APK from, you're going to put however much trust you want in that particular person. When you're pulling it from archive or from just some random index site that they've loaded up this server full of them, you don't know what you get. So it's an item. Donald says Troy Point app is awesome for a backup. I know that I saw Troy Point was putting a list of APKs, but that goes back to my warning. These people that's got websites and doing this listing of all these APKs, they're putting themselves in a situation that we may see down the road. Hey, I had to close all of that because of a cease and desist. Just saying, putting it out there now. I don't want trouble on nobody, but I'm just saying we've seen it, so it can happen. Penn, some ideas, thoughts, suggestions for people that may want another option for file linked, because now it's gone. What are some other options?
Yes. So I understand that not everybody take care of their customers completely remotely. A lot of individuals go over to family and friends or clients, homes, apartments, and they do their thing there. If you're selling or giving away a streaming device to somebody, that means that they have internet. You can use things like Easy Fire tools, Apps to Fire. These are applications that you can install on your phone. And when you go over there to that person's house, you can connect to their network and you can shoot your apps from your phone directly to their device. So you can have your backup. So your phone going to have internal storage, or it's going to have if you have an SD card, you can make it back up to a backup, and you can have things even on the cloud. Like there's numerous of options with that. There's Mega, there's Box. Most people deal with Windows. OneDrive is an option. I know that a lot of streamers or resellers utilize the Amazon platform. There is Amazon Cloud Drive. That is another option you can use that you can have available to you. There's the Send Anywhere app. And the list just goes on and on. Like, really, it just comes down to what you are comfortable with and just what you're willing to set up as far as what you can see which method is the most effective.
Mhm. And you're right. People have to decide what works for them.
Yeah.
And it again depends on, are you looking at just helping a couple of your friends and family and it's easy to do, or are you talking if you've got hundreds of people or that you're
All right.
having to help? So you have to think, all right, where where am I on the spectrum? So that can affect how much you need to to work on. I got a message from about. Let me make sure I'm reading. I don't want to. And just to be clear, hold on a second. Where is my? Oh, he's in Telegram. All right. So with the app linked, it is being worked on, and there's final update that's coming out, and it has been proven that there's no alleged malware. That they've proven that there is, but they're having to wait for clarification to get them out of the flags. I don't want to say, I don't know how to word that, because once you kind of fall into that, you have to wait for that time to be removed from the that you're flagged by the malware stuff. So it has been shown. He says that the app has been proved not to have any malware. So thanks to the guys that are working on that. And I want to say I know Jizz Planet pointed out that he was flagged. And he said partially because of some of the ads, and the ads get counted as malware. And so there's different ways that your website can be flagged, even if it doesn't have malware on it. So just keep in mind, again, you got to decide where's so you just got to decide, what works for you. And again, there's numerous things that are being worked on, but they said they've got it sorted out. It says it will be released soon with a new website from the media app. So there'll be a new website coming. So that's all coming out here. So check that out. Wait for that. That will be out there. And again, you got to decide what works for you. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Penn. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Oh no, it's good. Yeah, I know that the incident with FileLink, I know a lot of people were scrambling. So that was the reason behind. Well, that was one of the reasons behind the link tree tutorial. But yes, the terms and conditions, you are responsible for what you post on there. If you're discreet with it, if you saw the information out on a platform, then you could have it as an option or a backup. But it's just I just see it as another alternative.
Yep.
I don't see it as the next big thing necessarily. I mean, I have my own methods that I use through the network. I don't really bother with the sites per se, but I know that some individuals do like the sites.
Yeah.
Which is why I showed the option.
Yep. And again, it's options. And I think with file linked going down, you know what it makes me think of is this is kind of like a Hydra. That file link being taken down is kind of like a Hydra situation. That you chop off one head, several are growing, and to me, I'm in my personal opinion, I don't think that everybody needs to jump on one more ship on all. Let's all go from this app and go to this one, or from this website, we're gonna all roll over here. We saw that with when TVA was hit and we had all of those add-ons go down. You don't want everybody in one boat. You want to dilute it. You want to spread it out. You want to you want all kinds of options so that one hit doesn't hurt everybody. When everybody's in one basket, okay, that basket goes out and everybody's screwed. So again, giving out all these different options, not to say that, hey, this one's right and that one's wrong. It's just different options. You decide what fits your needs and from you. So, that's what we're looking for. Yeah.
And there's another now. Okay, so there's another platform that I want to briefly touch on now. Okay. This is just strictly, just for educational purpose, just for the end user to have, just multiple tools within their tool bag. There's a site called Flowcode.com. And you are able to link multiple things to that site. For example, Instagram, text message, YouTube, images, uploading files. I mean, I'm sure you guys can put, the two and two together.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
I got you.
it's just just for
Yeah.
backup.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm looking at its Flowcode,
Mhm.
so you can check it out. Get a QR code with it. I have all kinds of different things. Yeah, it can link into websites, videos, or Google Docs, Facebook, Instagram, text message, emails. So it can link into a lot of different items. So okay, so yeah, it's another option. And again, you got to figure out what works for you guys. And it's, again, I know I was dogging on sometimes it just, like I said, the sky is falling last week because
Mhm.
FileLink was down. It just is like, no, it's not. I
Yeah.
mean,
It's not the end though.
we have to adapt. I mean, if you're not adaptable in the hobby that we're all in, you're screwed. You got to be adaptable. You got to be
Yeah.
flexible. You got to be able to roll with the punches and not get all upset. Oh, good evening to AA. Nice to
Hey,
see him over here. Nice to
what's
see
up,
you.
AA?
Yeah, so nice to see him. Yeah, with FileLink going down just means more work for me. Yeah, and some people it is. I mean, it depends on, again, your hobby and what you got going on, and it can be more. But again, if you have, and I love the idea when Carl talked about having it to where you can make it to where you're not indexed into Google. And if you have certain files and put them in a folder and you create a download link with downloader or bit.ly, you can create a small URL that way. Create your small URL that your friends and family can get to, and then click it. Boom, there's the files that they needed. I think of like my wizard. If like for my friends and family, if they wanted a wizard or they wanted a fork of Kodi, I want to try 40 Kodi 19 because I got 18 on my device. I want to try 19. It's a great way to get in it, and then they can have two different things. So great ideas. You want to have some options. Donald puts it out there. He'd be willing to help, glad to help anyone on Telegram. And Donald's been around a long time, and I've seen him lots of places. So always looking to help some people. So thank you, Donald. So you can search him on Telegram. If you're on Telegram, you'll be able to find him. And let's see. So we got that. So those were my big topics. Why we're going. Yeah, and again, Google can do your work, and there's so many things that you can do. I mean, and most of my friends are like, I can't find this. And it's like, you can't search Google. It's pretty easy to find it. But one of the things I mentioned I threw Mr. Albin under the bus right when the show started. I didn't give him any time.
No, you didn't. It's okay.
So one of the things I thought about, you know what? This man here watches movies more than any of us and TV shows. So I thought, you know what? What about on Friday's shows, talk about a couple movies or a handful of movies or shows that you have been watching that that people might be interested in, might be wanting to check out.
Well, yeah, but we do have a show for that on Wednesday night. Just so everyone knows.
But I'm going to say
so
this.
everyone knows,
Yes, we do have a show Wednesday nights. In case you missed it, Player Pass, where we do review a movie. Which this week is what?
The Quiet Place 2.
Quiet Place 2. A Quiet Place 2 is our movie. So watch that on Wednesday. Please watch the movie prior because we're going to discuss it. We would be welcome. Would love for everyone to jump in and tell us what they thought of the movie. But in the show, we don't talk about a lot of movies. We talk about one. We'll talk about one particular movie, and then we talk about the next week's movie. But I thought there's a lot of movies we miss.
Yeah,
because
there are because we're only choosing one movie.
Yeah, so there's a lot of movies because you've talked about last week. You watched numerous movies last week that were part of the poll, and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
So
we have a poll just so those who don't know, because there are a lot of you that aren't in the group. Please join. You could join the Telegram group for Player Pass, because if you're ever looking for something good to watch, jump in there, look and see what we've been talking about. You can always join in and jump in a poll. Like, say, if you've watched the movie and we're gonna vote on it for everyone to watch, then hey, put in your vote. If you know that the movie was really good. Um, I've for something to watch. I've we there's so many things that have went by that we didn't watch, like for example, New Order was a new one that came out. The Paper Tigers was another one that came out we didn't pick because there's so many movies each coming out each week now. Um, there's the Four Good Days came out, Dream
Yeah.
Horse.
Yeah. Four Good Days. And you and I didn't watch
I
Four
watched
Good
it.
Days.
I
You
did.
watched it, but I want to watch it only because I
watch
thought that it was going to be an Oscar nominated movie.
Yeah.
And that was Four Good Days. New World was it New Order?
New Order.
New Order, which just came out.
Yeah.
That was basically about a class system of government that was being overthrown by the lower class, and they're overthrowing the upper class people.
Yeah.
And it is subtitled movie.
Yeah.
So, but it looked interesting when I
Yeah,
watched the trailer.
it was really good. I liked it. Something different. I find a lot of movies from other places are a lot better than what we're making here and in Canada, because you gotta think that what it's like for people in other places that are we have people here that from Belgium and places like that, they make some good stuff, and we never watch it. Hey, hey, my Belgian people out there and from other places, let us know. Say, hey, this was a good movie, because we've had great movies that we've watched that were foreign, that people have said, oh, you got to watch this. Yeah, Capernaum. But what's that other one from with the that other one, that
Parasite.
Parasite. No, we didn't watch that for the show. But
no, we didn't watch
that
it.
That one with that Tan had put out there.
Not silly girl, funny girl.
My sassy girl.
Sassy girl. Sassy girl. Yes.
That was, it came out of nowhere, but it was absolutely great. So there's a lot that's out there, but join the show, and we're working on new things. I'm going to put together a list, a watch list that people can just jump in and grab it, print it out, and have it there next to their on the side of their couch. So they're looking for something to watch. Boom, you got a list. Okay.
You know what, Alban? I just came up with another idea.
What?
Alban needs you need to go on Trakt, and you need to create Alban's watch list.
I could do that also.
Do a Trakt list, and then we share that Trakt list where anybody that has Trakt, any of us that had no Trakt, they could add it as a liked list, and then there it is. You don't even have to write it down.
Right? You don't have to write it down. That's true. Yep, I could do that.
I did want to mention one thing. Thank you, Donald, for mentioning this. I actually read about this yesterday, which was it's going to be a new format with Windows 11 coming out, and they're pushing for what was it, APP? I think it was called APP. It won't be APKs, it'll be APPs. And and again, I'm not an expert. I read through, and on my non-technical mind, the way I read it is it's going to be a new format. It's going to be a smaller format, because some of the common files that are needed in all APKs, or a lot of APKs, those files would not be included in the zip. They're available. Let's think if we think of Cody, we know that there's dependencies. Resolve URL, for example. So we know that resolve URL is a separate thing that you can get. So just because you go and get something, you wouldn't necessarily have to have resolve URL in every single one because that's already available. So my understanding of it is that these APPs, if I'm remembering it correctly, are going to be smaller because those dependencies, those common files, will not be part of the APK. And so they said that they would be separate. I didn't understand the part where it was saying that you wouldn't be able to sideload stuff. I didn't really understand that. But that was I read just one article. I'm not sure. Did anybody else on the panel?
I read an
about that?
article about this guy that got that Windows 11 running on his Windows 10 phone. Yeah, so I was pretty impressed with that. You know, he was shown Windows 11 on his phone. I was like, okay.
And now Windows 11 is in beta. I think it's
Yeah.
beta. I don't think it's alpha. So
Yeah,
there's still issues, folks. Don't be the first to run out there and convert your computer over to that. There could be issues. So just Donald said AAB. So you could be right. I can't remember the name of the file format. So.
As for
just allowing you to run Android apps natively on Windows, so that in the same way that you can install Windows subsystem for Linux and run Linux on Windows, it's just another way for people to have the ability to expand on the number of apps that they can use.
Okay. Buzz wrote in here, AAB stand for Android App Bundle, maybe. Yeah, there was something like that. So, yeah, we're gonna see. We'll see what happens. I know that I want to say when I was reading the article, it says, "Is this the end of side loading in the Google Play Store or something like that?" And I was like, when I read it, it didn't sound like that when I read it. And I was like, again, sometimes catchy titles make you read it, and so that's true. I mean, I was like, what? Not going to be able to sideload anymore, but I don't think that's going to be able. And there is, I do know that with, like I said, with Windows 11 being able to run Android, so that is a benefit that a lot of people are looking forward to being able. And I'm even looking forward to it because it makes it easier if I'm wanting to show a video and I'm wanting to show how Android, hey, this is installing on an Android system. Let me show you that. Now I have to run BlueStacks or Nox or something like that. And that doesn't always run great. But I will say BlueStacks runs better than Nox. I used Nox for a long time. And I installed BlueStacks. Wow, how much faster it was than Nox. So Nox is out the door. I went back. I was starting to use BlueStacks. I think my old computer didn't like BlueStacks for some reason. It was always crashing. This computer runs it fine. So
another thing they were saying though about Windows 11 was that you have to be connected to the internet for the install. There's no more getting away with not being. They want you to be able to log into a Microsoft account.
Yeah, well, Windows 10 is a lot like that. There's
but you can get around it.
Yes, but you had to jump through quite a few hoops. I know Charles, he had because he was all about, I'm not doing that. Even though his legit laptop, and he's like, nope, I'm not logging into my Google, and they're just tracking me. And I'm like, okay, so, but he had to do a bunch of steps to avoid that. Right. So you're saying that basically they're closing them loopholes.
Yep, they close those loopholes up, which really sucks because it's like you have a test machine, I know I do, and so you're always dumping everything off the thing, and here you go, I have to create a separate account just to be able to build a machine. That's kind of ridiculous.
I was looking. We got old Chuck over here. Look at Chuck hanging with us.
What was that?
That's the price you pay if you want to use their system.
Yeah.
They're getting harder and harder to. It's. I mean, they're just. It's like they're. Oh no, you're not getting away. And I mean, Google's doing the same thing.
Yeah, true.
I mean, you think about it. Google, you've got to log into your Google account on almost anything on your
Anything.
Android now.
Yep.
I mean, YouTube. You know, you got to sign
Yep.
up to Google. You know, it's like everything. You got to log in.
Yeah,
You know, and
but the big difference there is that Gmail and Android is free. Windows is not. The reason they're asking you to log in is to reduce the level of piracy. Because when you create a Windows 10 license and you assign it to your account, it's stored within your user account at your Microsoft account online. So when you then log back in and you reinstall that machine, it goes, oh, well, you've got a license. Here you go. And then activates your copy of Windows for you. So Windows 11, the idea behind that and keeping you online and having to have a Microsoft account is to reduce the risk of piracy against Windows 11. And to track your usage and to present the right ads to you based on what they do. I mean, you install Windows 10 now, it already says, do you want us to tailor the ads and personalize the ads for your experience?
And it's on by default.
Data is king at the end of the day. If you know so much about your users and what they're doing, you can tailor your advertisement specifically to that person in an effort to try and convince them to buy the thing that you're selling. It's how Amazon works. It's how Google works. They know so much about you to be able to do it. So the idea behind the user account experience on Windows 11 is to prevent piracy, but also increase the revenue through adverts and data and being able to target specific people and understand their audience. You will be able to get around that. There will be a way around it. There'll be, enterprise level versions of Windows 11, which will be rolled out through domain policies on internal enterprise networks, which don't require you to have a Microsoft account.
Okay.
Someone will release that and have some sort of fix in place to allow you to install that on your personal laptop.
Okay.
I'm not going to install it myself, but I know that there's a guy at my work that's already got the beta installed and it looks all right, but it's up to him. It's going to break a few things, no doubt.
Yeah, I know that I saw Fanerific posted about it. I saw him. He posted. Then I think he had it for like 2 days. He says, "Oh, it's so cool, this and that." And then he's like, "Oh, there's already some. I'm already having some issues." And he was like 2 days in it or a day into it. He's like, "I'm having some issues." Something about I think he says
that's the only way that you know if issues exist is by using it, and that's why they put the betas out there, because they want to learn from the people that are using it and how they use it and what they're doing to understand where the problems exist to be able to fix them. You can't simulate everyone's use case in a lab. So you put a beta out there, let people tell you what the problems are, and they can then fix them.
Yeah, the feedback is going to be the major key there, just so they can iron out some of the bugs, not everything, but the key points that they can take away from the end user.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I want to say we've talked about this, before about this gathering information and what is it? What are they gathering it? And it's to sell you product, and they've got to know you, as O'Neill said. They got to know you to tailor information to you, and then they sell you better. I think about anybody that has a YouTube channel, or if you have a website. If you have a website and you have ads in there. If they have ads in there, that people come to your website and they click on the ad, and if they buy something via that click, you actually the website gets more revenue. So it's all about, you want to have the right things on the right places to make you go buy something is what they want, or to go somewhere and to look at something. It's just all about selling stuff and to get those numbers up.
And as a website owner, you don't dictate what type of adverts are on there.
Yeah.
You subscribe to an ad network. The ad network, based on all of the data it knows about the visitor through cookies and referrers, will then know what type of advert to promote to them. urban legends and myths and stuff like that. That I was talking to my friend about shoes, and then went on Facebook, and suddenly there's loads of adverts about shoes. That actually happens. People know a lot more about you than what you think you know, or what you think they know.
What you think they know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they know. It's proper tinfoil hat.
I like that. Funster says, if it's free online, you're the product. And you are.
Yeah, right.
They're so true. That is so
they're
true.
selling you.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, they're selling you to somebody so they can sell you something. When Monkey asks, why is all ads are porn?
Because he's going on porn sites.
He's going on porn sites.
And you got some cookies. You get some bad cookies on there. Because you
can use things like Privacy Badger or uBlock on your Chrome and your Firefox, or you could use a browser like Brave, and it will limit the information that is shared to these ad networks that will collect the sites that you've been on to tailor the ad specifically to you.
Chuck says it's the younger generation doesn't watch traditional streaming methods, so they can't reach them. So, and again, we're in a different times. This is a evolving situation on how they're going to generate revenue. I mean, we're in an economy. The world is in a way of selling stuff. They're selling. I mean, why on when you look at some of the sports teams, why do they have names of something on there? Well, that's because when you're looking at it and you watch it long enough, you're like, what's it, that Betty Me or Bet Me or Bet for Me, whatever that bet company that you always see. Like I'll say for BT Sports 2 has always got one of those betting websites. Yeah. Again,
Bet365 or Betfred.
Yeah, Bet365. Yeah. And I always see it's like you see it. Why? It's there to advertise, and that's there for, and that's why they are.
And also, one of the best despite the fact that they're a betting company and gambling company. Obviously, people don't like that, but from a commercial aspect, one of the best companies in the country, because the owner of the company is worth an absolute fortune. She pays all of her taxes. She doesn't offshore it. She doesn't lie about it. She pays all of her taxes, and she's considered the richest woman in the UK.
Wow. And that's for what company?
Bet365.
Wow.
Her name is Denise. Denise Coates, and she is a legend. She pays all of her taxes, which is great. Because in the UK, we have this thing where a lot of companies don't pay their taxes. Yeah. They try and lie about where they're coming from and selling
we
through Luxembourg. Paid.
Or we have, or the government cut some of the. A lot of times the government cuts the companies a break to where they don't pay taxes because well, you're giving jobs, so you ain't got to pay tax.
Yeah. Well, she gives jobs. She's 24/7. She pays her taxes. She looks after her staff. She's adopted children. She gives a lot to charity, and she's great. I know all this because Bet365 are in my town, and you know people that work there because you live here. Everyone you kind of know. There's always one person or 2-3 people in your circle that work at Bet365, and they all say the same thing. She's fantastic.
All right, so everybody log into Bet365. Oh, that's right. We're in the U.S. We can't. Bet365, and then I always see that commercial where that guy, like when you're watching the MMA and he's getting ready to kick the other guy in the head.
Yeah.
like a little shadow. And what amazes me, they're in the UK. You guys can bet on everything.
Is it the heavy English guy that goes, "Oh yeah, did you see him?"
Oh yeah,
that one. Yeah, that's Ray Winston. That's Ray Winston. He was in a very good film that I actually recommend you should watch. It's called Scum.
Scum.
1970s film about
Okay.
kids in Borstal, and he was Carlin, and it's a very brutal film that shows what Borstal was like in the UK. Borstal being like a prison for young offenders,
Hmm.
and it was just pure violence, and that's where he came from. So he was a film actor in the 70s, and notorious with gangster films and prison films, and basically horrible shit. And a great film though, great film, because there's some elements of that that's like, there's two guys playing pool, and he just literally takes a sock, puts some snooker balls in it, goes up to him, smacks him in the head, and he goes, "Who's your fucking daddy? I'm your daddy now, you cunt!" And just swears at them. It's just amazing. It's just amazing. He's like going into a fight. He's like, "Where's your tool? What tool? This tool." Smacks him with it.
I just have to laugh because you see here from New York, we we see you guys in England, and it's like no one really even carries guns. You know what I mean? Here, you have to worry about walking down the street and getting shot in the back of the head.
by some little kid.
We're just not allowed to.
I know, but we're not allowed to here too. You can go to any corner and buy one.
We fight with our hands here.
I know. That's
we're
why I
rockers,
think
we
it's so funny.
But yeah, check out Scum. Scum's good.
I definitely will.
ID's another one. Kneel by Mouth. That's another good one. Football Factory.
Kneel by Mouth? You said?
Kneel by Mouth.
Kneel by Mouth.
Yeah. The ID, The Firm, Football Factory, Green Street. They're all good.
That's why you got to come to the Player Pass show on the our Telegram.
Wednesdays are my busy
Yeah, great show.
Yeah, O'Neill's been working a lot. So hey, we'll start rolling this up. I'll say first, thanks to Nar for coming on and hanging out with us, talking about some of his projects and some of the work that he's been doing on different projects. So thanks to him. Penn, thank you for joining us. Anything you want to mention or talk about before we roll out?
For sure. Thanks again for inviting me on, and shout out to the chat. And just tune in sometime next week. I'll be doing another live with some content planned for it. And just going to open up the panel and have a discussion. And just all about sharing information. And wish everybody the best, safe weekend, happy holidays for those that are celebrating. And take care.
Yeah, thank you, sir. Thank you. And again, check out his website or check out his his YouTube channel. His YouTube channel, if I can talk. He's got a YouTube channel and a Cocoscope channel, so check out both of those. If you want, you can throw them over there. I know you posted them earlier. Throw those in there so that people can go and check you out, subscribe. Again, you've got to use the people. There's lots of opportunities, guys. There's lots of information out there. But if you follow the right people, you'll get a little bit of information. And it's always good to have a bunch of different people. You hear different things. It's always good. So, O'Neill, thank you for joining us, bud. Giving us that technical insight that I knew you would have the insight on all that.
The one that bored everyone. Yeah, you're welcome.
No, no, you only bored Nar. No, but hey, thanks for joining us. And again, O'Neill works with Antisocial Hosting. Great platform, great service. I not just because I've used it, I've been using it for years. Just about everybody I know has used it. Great customer service, great response. If you have issues, tickets that go up, does a really good job. And he understands the community and if we're having issues, he already kind of understands it. Whereas if you went to GoDaddy, they'd be like, "You got a what?"
Yeah. I appreciate that. We try and do what we can to help. We do things outside of the community. We do host normal websites as well, but you're right. Obviously I pay attention to what's going on in the groups and what people are doing, and try and help out best I can. But it's very difficult, obviously, to try and sort of stretch yourself across multiple time zones when I'm based in the UK and people are messaging me at like 3 o'clock in the morning UK time. I obviously can't reply, or I'm just incredibly busy to reply back. So sometimes people just get missed, and I apologize for that. But we try and do what we can. Anyone that does use our service that needs any help or support, we're there to help. And if someone has a service with someone else and needs some help and I'm about, I will help them. I like everyone else, I have a family and a real job. And,
a job.
The community, and then I have my baby, which is antisocial hosting, and I have a couple of other things that I'm working on as well. So just a busy guy that likes to do things. I just don't like to sit still for too long, because otherwise I get moaned at to start cleaning, and I don't want to do that. So I just keep myself busy at my computer.
Help him stay busy so he doesn't have to do any cleaning. Just the missus. So that's what he's.
Stay busy. But no, I appreciate the comments, and I mean we've had people work, we've had people with us, we've had people leave us. We try and do what we can and give people the best service that we can. Sometimes people's add-ons or websites or services become bigger than what we can host, and we'll be honest and tell people that and say, look, I'm really sorry, you're far bigger than what we can handle, or what we can support, or what you're prepared to pay. You'll need to go somewhere else, and we'll help them find that, and we'll never just switch them off. We'll obviously help and work through it and find a platform that works for them. But this is a hobby for you guys out there, and spending money on a hobby isn't always something you want to do. And the realistic side of it is that if you do become incredibly successful, and your add-on or your platform or your website is incredibly successful, then there's going to come a point where the smaller guy like us isn't going to be able to facilitate you. But then you lose that touch of being able to talk to someone that understands what you're doing. Whereas if you go to GoDaddy, or you go to Wix, or whoever, those types of big companies, and you say, hey, I've got this Cody add-on, and they'll be like, I don't know what that is. or they'll turn around and say, oh, you're hosting Cody add-ons on our site. Great. Here's a cease and desist letter.
Yeah, I was going to say, then it's like, you got to go.
Yeah. So, we try and help, and we do what we can. We're not perfect. I don't tell anyone that we are. We're just humans.
Yeah. Well, like I said, it's a good service. I've numerous people that have used it. And so it's just an option. Again, if you're looking for something like that, it's inexpensive in the scheme of things. I mean, it's really inexpensive. So if you're looking to get something like a VPS and just try it out, I'll post the link in the show description. We have the link all the time posted in Streaming Matters. I know that the link is in my Dabs link room, or Dabs channel links. It's in there.
Yeah.
If you just do a search for it. So if you're looking for that, we can get you that link. And then, I'm not making any,
if you're with someone else and you need help, reach out to me and I'll help you. If I'm about, if I'm about, I'll help. And if you've got your own thing going with someone else and you need a hand, let me know and I'll do what I can.
Yeah. And again, he's got to do what he can, and it's still got his other stuff to actually juggle. So, Alban.
Okay.
Thanks for hanging with us.
No problem.
Yeah.
First, most important thing for everyone to know: England in soccer or football. You have to. We got to keep our hands up for Andrew out there. I got all the prayers in for England to win. So good luck, Andrew.
It is coming home. We have beaten our nemesis, which is Germany. The hardest thing that we as a country have done.
That's because I had to fix in. Okay, so that's why. But I'm still trying to push it forward for you guys over here.
Well, I appreciate that. The whole country appreciates that because we are, as a country that loves football, we are terrible at football. We have never won anything apart from the World Cup in 1966, and we'll tell everyone about it.
Yeah.
We won the World Cup in 1966. We did that, but we are looking really, really well. The main thing for the country as England as a whole is that we are coming slowly out of lockdown. The Euros couldn't have come at a better time. The whole country is behind the English football team, whether you like football or not. But you're behind the whole camaraderie and the togetherness and the relaxation of all the COVID rules to really enjoy something. And then as that's happening, we're playing bloody good football at the moment and we're doing really, really well. And then we stuff the Germans and it's like, yes, come on, we might actually win this.
Okay, well, best of luck to you guys for that. There's no UFC this week.
Next week.
Next week is
big card.
The big card, yeah. With McGregor and Poirier again.
246, I think.
246, yeah. UFC 246.
Are you into your fighting then, are you?
Pardon?
Are you into your fighting?
Yeah.
Yeah, we both like
so there's I think it's 11 weeks today. There is going to be a very, very big boxing match on in the UK, which is Eddie the Beast Hall, World's Strongest Man, a number of times over, is going to be fighting Thor. And it's going to be a fantastic match.
Who's he fighting?
He's fighting that big Iceland dude that was in.
The guy from Game of Thrones. Yeah. He lost a bunch of weight. He's looking really good right now, but he still can't swing his arms.
Yeah, so I'm like really hoping that Eddie's going to win. And I have a bit of a. Well, I used to work for Eddie at one point, that's why I'm like, come on, Eddie, come on, let's win this. He's a local lad and used to run a door firm.
He cracks me up. He really does. He's so funny. The things him and his wife do, that how they two of them compete, it's funny.
Alex, she's great. She is.
Yeah,
she's great. But no, that fight's 11 weeks today. And I'm really looking forward to that. So yeah, Eddie the Beast Hall versus the dude from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. Yep. That's great. And otherwise, I don't think there's anything else I have. I don't know if you, Dads, if you wanted, you're gonna do an after show here or on Telegram.
I'll do an after show on Telegram. I'll probably throw the link into Telegram, and maybe we'll do it on Telegram.
Yeah.
And again, that is an option that if you have a channel on Telegram, you can open up a voice/video chat. Video chat holds up to 30 people. So you're able to just have it, and it's just.
And you can still have unlimited voice people there.
Oh yeah.
So you don't have to, show your, use your camera if you don't have one. You know what I mean? Yeah. So you can know even just go in there to chime in and talk at least. And
by default, you're on mute, so you have to push to talk or turn off the push to talk. So if you're on mute by default, so just keep that in mind if you guys join. So we'll do that. We'll do that. We'll put that in there. So
and make sure you have the latest version of Telegram on updated.
And the movie for the week. Quiet Place 2.
Quiet Place Part 2.
So that's Tuesday. Plus, what was that other movie that just came out yesterday? Blue was going to watch it, or today. Tomorrow War.
It's hand sanitizer, Funster. we have to, keep sanitizing here.
Look, he's Oh, Funster. All right, so Tomorrow War. I think wasn't Tomorrow Wars.
The Tomorrow War came out today.
So a lot of people have been watching that. A lot of buzz. So a lot of good movies.
There's a lot. It's hard to make a choice just for one. So maybe we'll have to, at least have the other movies and whatever comes up second,
Yeah,
either we can.
look at
we
Albin's
try to
like,
do
we need to
something.
do 2 movies because he
No, I
watches
wouldn't do
them
that to you
within
guys.
30 minutes of
I
the
know
show
I
being
won't.
over.
I wouldn't do it to you guys. I know you
I
guys
know.
got to work and everything, but
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
I just feel bad for people that put a vote in and no one it doesn't make it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's why I try to put it out for the next week.
Yeah. So
if
yeah,
I
we got
can, but
this.
so many coming out.
So Wednesday, 5 p.m. Eastern. That's 9 o'clock in the UK. Andrew, who was over there in the side chat, he's on there. Albin's on the panel. I'm on the panel. Blue is on the panel, and then we also open up the chat. People can talk just like this on the side, but then we open up that after we do the four of us talk, we open the panel. Pens jumps on there. Shrink and Sharon, Eddie, Roger. Jump
The
on the
Beach.
show. The Beach, yeah, jump on the show, and they tell us in their own words what did they think of the movies, and so that's fun. It's a good time for us to watch
It
movies
is.
and just talk. So look forward to that. So thanks for everyone watching. Thanks for you guys hanging out with us. Thanks to all the people that come on the panel and the people that come and watch us every day, every Friday. You get numerous people watch us, and we really appreciate that. And hopefully we answered some of your questions, giving you some new insight on how to stream a little better, to fit the niche that you particularly have. And we'll see you guys on the next one. So we'll see you Wednesday, right?
Wednesday.
All right. Streaming matters to us because streaming matters to you.